Hit me!
Episode 332.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
A little flat, but I'll take it. Hey, everybody, welcome. Another edition of NetHeads. My name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, one of many ways is Twitter, which is one of the ways you can even watch us right now. But Trent, why don't you tell them how they can do that?
Will, you can be like just tag Justin Jackson. I'll just say that because his tag is just tag 33K, but it looks like geek, just a geek.
Gotcha.
Anyway, yeah, who is a fellow Utahn who is using the hashtag NetHeads. And Will, he's also trying to win himself a sweet, glorious Vector robot as well. Use the hashtag NetHeads, and that's how you can talk to us in the past almost always, as there are more convenient ways to speak to us live.
As funny you mentioned that too, because the hashtag NetHeads also, with the Vector giveaway, has become unreadable because of all of the people that are using the social media love option, which, by the way, I've seen the numbers, and it is one of the best ways you can gain entries in the raffle, because it's one of those things where it's not just like you just can submit your name, even though you can. For those of you that it works for, you can also gain entries by doing extra things. Like right now, for the past 3 days, the daily number 7 has been you can go to Java John's Coffee to check out his coffee. He's a micro roaster, makes great coffee. More on micro roasting later. And but when you use like the social media option, you generate a tweet, and every time somebody clicks the link within that goes back to the giveaway, you get 5 more entries. And like after the first day, there was one person that had on their own, even though it's like there were only 11 ways to enter, they had like 48 entries because of that. Okay,
now that makes wow. Like I'm sure you explained that originally when you were going through the whole like process and everything, but okay, because that blows my mind. Those are some quality metrics, my friend.
Thank you. Yes, it is interesting. The only upsetting thing that we found out after the giveaway happened, which, by the way, if you go to bit.ly/Vector giveaway or just netheadsonair.com/Vector giveaway, you can find out more information. I'm not going to bother bringing it up because last time, that one didn't go well. But you can gain many entries, but there have been people that have had issues. Interestingly enough, the majority of them have been on Android and Samsung. Also, it's a user interface issue because, we advertised here, but we also advertised on, and not advertised. We mentioned it here. We mentioned it on TikTok. And when you're using TikTok uses like a resident browser. So first they give a security warning when you click the link in bio. Then people would try and navigate, and it wasn't quite working for them. And I did the best I could, but there's a certain point where you're like, look, I'm giving something away for free, so I'm doing everything I can. And
you're doing what you can, and if they want all the more advantage, they got to do a little on their part too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just get your. I know it's for me. It's as a guy sitting here surrounded by computers. It is amazing to me the number of people that now are utilizing just their mobile device for everything. So they don't need a computer anymore because they can do their email through their phone. They can do this through their phone. They don't have a laptop. They don't have a computer. That's their world, and that blew me away.
It blows my mind. So with this past year and COVID and everything, and I'm working in, academic broadcasting, which the easy way for academics to broadcast is to put stuff out through Zoom, this, that, and the other. And we get the metrics on how many things that have been uploaded through Kaltura, which is the system we use, into Canvas for students to watch. How much of that is viewed on mobile devices? And my brain explodes whenever I see that, because in my, and maybe, it's a generational thing. I'm just like, I want a big screen. I want a keyboard. I want, like, if I can have a computer option, that's what I'm going to do. But this new generation is not in that mindset at all.
My daughter has watched, I could be wrong, but watched like 11 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. All of it has been on her 13-inch laptop. All of it.
Sure. But I mean, and not for want of a TV in the house that she could watch it on, right?
Right. Well, kind of. We dominate the living room with the big TV.
Right.
In her defense, but it's not like, look.
She's not proud by it. It's not like she's pissed.
No, I've had a TV in her room before, although admittedly, I think it was like, I don't know, in a 16:9 world, it may have been like a 21-inch screen, so I think from across the room, same experience as the laptop in front of her.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I just want to give a shout out to Jason Bandalarahat and Ariel Linky, Joy Luke, Nicole Woods, all the people taking part in the chat, Michelle Kuzo over on YouTube. So glad to see you guys here. But yeah, by the way, also Nicole saying, I have a Samsung and I had no problem, but it's okay. Thank you for the opportunity. My pleasure. That was the point of setting up the raffle the way I did, was that you could get multiple entries, and that way you could commit as much as you were willing to commit.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. And it's double blind. So you don't know, the winning number. So on the chance, maybe one entry will do it for you. Cool. Right on, man.
Hey, Midnight Smoke. Glad to see you joining in. Hey, Zach, what's up? Also, I just wanted to say that it is exciting to see that everyone is going through this. We will be around the midpoint announcing a secret word that on the raffle giveaway page tomorrow will gain you 5 entries, which means I will have suckered you into watching this video for 30 minutes. So, pow, pow, pow. Thank you.
Will?
Yeah.
Is the password penis?
No, it's not.
Oh,
don't do that
okay.
again, please. I'm begging you.
That was my best cable guy impersonation. Underrated film. I'll say it again. Underrated.
I think you're right. Actually, it is still one of those movies I did enjoy, and I think it was one of the ones where, although Jim Carrey was being Jim Carrey, he was still, that was him trying some of his dramatic chops.
Yeah. Yeah, and up against one of the best straight men in the business of Matthew Broderick. Like, it's and written and directed by Ben Stiller. It's a great movie.
Awesome. It is an awesome movie, especially the way at the time it takes a look at what was going on in our culture, because it was like the Menendez brothers, and it was on the heels or on the eve of the OJ trials. So we were really obsessed with TV and culture and its place in society as a makeshift babysitter, and what can happen in that scenario. It had a lot of subtext for what was and it was also my first experience with Jack Black, I think.
Oh, I think it was probably all of our first experiences. I think it's one of his first credits.
Yeah, might have been. Oh, by the way, also want to give a special shout out to Abigail Stewart, new Patreon member and supporter. Thank you very much, Abigail. Love to have you. Thank you so much. If you want to find out more about that, it's patreon.com. Look, just go to netheadsonair.com. It's the easiest way to get to everything.
Everything that you could possibly want is there.
Yes.
Well, not everything. I mean, that's hyperbole, but you know what I mean.
I know what you were talking about. It's okay. Yeah. It's all right. Hey, Trent. So Saturday, I have an impending dance with facing mortality, because I will be hitting. Well, how does one say it? Oh no, the big 5-0. So
yeah, that's half a C note, my friend.
It is. It is. I have collected 50 years so far. But God, they're having too much fun in the chat saying banana, big boobs, butt check. Oh, butt check. No, I think that's something we said. Thanks, Smoke. No, I'm turning 50. I'm not saying that so like, hey, everybody, say happy birthday to me on Saturday on social media. No, I'm not saying that. Although maybe it could earn you entries. Who knows? I'm saying it because of the wonderful gift that I know my family got me, because I put together a list and Amazon delivers everything, because it's been 366 days that we try not to leave the house around here.
Wait, how many days are in a year?
365.
Will, this so you've done it.
What did I do?
You've gone a full year.
Yeah, but Trent, again, not much of my lifestyle has changed. I'm just not meandering around Target. I'm not going to movie theaters.
Right. Yeah.
There's also been no movie theaters to go to.
Right.
So I haven't been doing these things. However, again, my lifestyle not very impacted. Well, except in the fact that, like, the kids don't go to school at all, even though that's turning around here. None of this is important. The important thing is that my family got me one of the most potentially dangerous gifts I could get for my birthday. Still in the box because my birthday has not officially hit yet. But they got me a 3D printer. I am going to be fabricating like a madman.
That's what you're going to have. The problem is always having a stock hold of enough printing material, right? Like, you're just going to have to, like, bone up on that stuff.
Well, I feel a lot like the dean in Community, whereas because I'm concerned this may awaken something in me, because the way exactly the one that I chose, because of the quality and detail you get from it, is a resin 3D printer. So it utilizes a specific material, and it uses UV light to cure the layers and build that way. The other kind is a filament that, basically melts down the 3D printing material filament and then creates the layers that way and kind of draws it out from the bottom up. The other goes from the bottom. I don't understand how. It's science. I don't get it. But I admit that I'm worried it's awoken something in me, because there are certain benefits to the resin printing, but there are also certain benefits to the filament printing. The filament printing, if detail isn't a concern, you can have a larger print area, and you can start doing things like making the parts for Infinity gauntlets or Iron Man helmets. I'm not saying these are the things I would use, but
yeah. So if now tell me if I'm off on this one. The filament ones are the ones that kind of have, like, the finished product sort of has like gradient lines in it. You can kind of see where it's been built up upon itself. Okay, so
that is correct.
So, and if you're finishing it yourself, you're going to paint it later or whatever, maybe that's fine. But with the resin one, you're getting a nice, smooth, finished product.
Yes, exactly. You know more than I do, I think.
Well, no, that's I'm just, from what you said, that's what I gleaned. Well,
now the thing is, I have no reason to justify wanting one other than when I see certain things, like for my wife's birthday, I think, or mother's, I don't know when I got it for, but I picked up a docking station that would allow her to charge her cell phone, her AirPods, and her Apple Watch all on the same device. And technically speaking, aside from the induction charger for the AirPods, you could technically 3D print the other two as items. Or when I think, boy, I really wish I just had something to hang my headphones right here, you could do that. Yep. Or if you can find the file and you've lost the back or battery cover for a remote control.
Yes.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yes. How many of us have just, had that one piece of duct tape that has been pulled off every time that batteries have come in and out, to the point where it's just barely hanging on by 3 threads of adhesive.
If you can't duct it, never mind.
Okay, yeah. So my roommate has a 3D printer.
The great Will Kent?
Yes, the great Will Kent. And he's made many things around the house. A fun thing that I'll always see out on, like, some spare boards are just like our good friend Reboot Stencils, who's all about the art, the street art of stenciling. Is he'll make stencils out of vectors. So you vectorize an image. He's made a ton of Galactus, a ton of Doom. But even more cool than that, Will, is the shower. I don't even know what it's called. It's a cell phone amplifier, audio amplifier that hangs on the shower curtain rod and just amplifies the sound of your cell phone into the shower, and it's the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, Trent, every morning I get up. Each morning when I wake up and put on my makeup, I think, never mind. No, every morning when I wake up, I do a few things. Then I get in the shower.
Right.
And every morning I precariously perch my cell phone on the windowsill.
Yeah.
And I point the speakers towards the wall so they'll bounce off.
Yep.
As I listen to the Ralph Report. I can't wait to have Ralph on our podcast just so I can tell him every morning I listen to you when I'm naked and rubbing myself.
I touch myself and listen to you.
Exactly. That sounds like something I need in my life.
And I just got in the shower one day and I didn't know what in the hell it was. And I was just kind of staring at it and I was like,
Is he taking pictures of me?
That is it's bent so weird that I don't know how that could be a personal sleeve for yourself for enjoyment. But hey, teach their own. And then he showed it to me. I was like, oh, this makes way more sense. I was like, is that like what I think it is? He's like, no.
Well, Evie Garland in the chat is pointing out, get a Bluetooth shower speaker. Yeah, that's a great idea. I've had those. The only problem is those run out of power and you forget about it.
Yep. And you're already in the shower at that point and it's already turned on. The water's already hot. And it's just like, it'd take more time to get out than the whole shower is going to take.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you. Whereas that makes sense. Something that you can set your phone in that amplifies the sound and hangs from the shower curtain rod. Win.
Yeah, it sits on the other side of the shower curtain, so it's completely dry and it holds it there. Like it's crazy because it's old-timey technology. It's just like a tin horn. It's like an old phonogram.
Yeah.
But damn, it works well.
Well, and you see a lot of those too. Like I remember there was one device that it was just called like the Wave or the Curve, and it was a similar concept. You just set your phone in it, and it would then, the same as putting your cell phone into a cup. It does the same thing. It amplifies the sound. That's interesting. I know a friend also sent me something that I think there's also an option to where you can put like a flint spark in it. But it is a light switch cover that allows you to have the old-timey gang switch on a light switch. So it looks like you're bringing Frankenstein to life every time you turn on a light.
Yeah, not executing capital punishment.
No, I was thinking more bringing a corpse to life.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between I'm more about the destruction and you're more about the creation. It's yin and yang, Will.
Yeah. Although I in defense of the Bluetooth speaker approach for the bathroom, if my bathroom did have a vent fan, which it doesn't because it has a window, so they're like, you don't need a vent fan. He can deal with steam. Open a window, you noob. One of the coolest things I've seen are vent fans that you can get in your home for the bathroom that have a Bluetooth speaker built in, so that way you don't have to worry about power.
My head just exploded. That's such a good idea.
Yeah. And they're starting to put them in ceiling fans too, Trent. They're putting Bluetooth speakers in ceiling fans now.
And have that tap into your in-house intercom as well. So if someone needs to tell you something while you're in the shower.
Oh, even better. That's just what I want. Well, although, we all have different approaches. We all have different beliefs. We've all grown up with different things. I'm terrified at the concept of my phone in the shower. And the reason why I do put it where I put it is because if it falls down, it's just going to go flat onto that shelf and not go anywhere. So I don't have to worry about it falling in the water. My daughter, she will straight up have text conversations while she's in the shower because she's got a water-resistant phone. She don't care.
Yeah. See, even if mine was water resistant, I'm too chicken. I couldn't do it. It scares me too much.
I understand. Yeah, because
I mean,
electronics and
Yeah.
in my and admittedly, like I had to replace her phone because I had forgotten that her phone was broken, and we were trying to video something in the pool, and I dropped the phone in there thinking, oh, I don't have to worry about it, but the case had been compromised, so. Yeah, and I made the joke, something happens, I'm not going to buy you a new one, and then I did something stupid, and I had to buy her a new one. That was
You
great.
definitely. Yeah.
But I am looking forward to making nutty things like that. That's one of the things. And plus, like all the little knick-knacky things that I've got around here, I could make those now if I wanted to. But I am struggling and hoping I can find a practical use for it. Something like what you're describing, that amplifier is a genius idea. I'm also looking forward to like different types of phone holders, because there's got to be like something that you could 3D print yourself to where even with, because I could talk more about this as well. Right now my phone has got a Shure microphone plugged into it. Thank you, Shure. So it would be nice if I had something I could just set my phone in and hold it, so I'm not holding the phone, but I'm not impacting this mic. And so if it doesn't exist, I could make one, Trent. I could make it myself.
Yeah.
Because I can 3D print now. It's so
You can
exciting.
do it all.
So exciting. So I'm really looking forward to see it. But now I am concerned if I need to get a filament 3D printer as well for the other stuff that, is either bigger or is, and right now my wife's hearing this going, no, you don't. You don't need another one. We don't even know where.
She's like, you haven't even opened the one you've got.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. I haven't. But I know that there are, and plus I don't know which one is more or less expensive. I don't know the benefits of the type of printer. I have no place in this world even having this 3D printer. Let's face it, Trent. I don't.
Yeah.
But
you do now.
Yeah.
Literally.
So there you go. Well, I can still return it. It's okay. Yeah, but isn't that the kind of? I mean, it's like a 50th birthday, and I'm not asking for a Harley or anything. So I think it's okay.
No, it's absolutely okay. Yeah, and then you can just print out enough parts to make your own Harley.
Yeah, there you go. I can make my own Harley. By the way, shout out to Ryan Connolly, who just got to work and has to stop listening. Ryan, so nice to hear from you. We love you. Oh wow, we've already gone 20 minutes. Trent, look, let's not push the people any further. Those of you that are oh, by the way, Trent, I forgot to mention, happy St. Patrick's Day, sir.
Dude, I literally didn't even know it was St. Patty's Day until Bob Williams here in the tweet feed wished us happy St. Patrick's Day. I had no idea that today was St. Patty's Day.
Yeah,
no clue.
It happens every March 17th, so.
It really, it's not like every third. It's not like Thanksgiving where it has to depend on the day.
Those are the ones that piss me off. It's the third Thursday of every November or something like that, right? No, it's always March 17th. Just like birthdays every year.
37 years old, and I just learned that.
It's okay, man. I mean, like, do you know how many days are in the month of September?
30.
There you go. You're already ahead of the game. Don't worry about it. You got that covered. That's all that's important.
Chance, but I snagged it.
So the reason why I wish you happy St. Patrick's Day is, one, because I do have an interesting anecdote I'd love to share about that. But also, I want to end the people's misery who are like, I'm done watching or I'm ending your attempting to skip around in order to find the secret word. So if this works correctly, you will be able to take the secret word tomorrow as one of the daily items, because the next daily item will be to watch the video, which, by the way, again, if you have access to a computer, not that I want to screw up our metrics, because really we hit one goal. We've got more than 1,000 subscribers, so thank you very much, everyone, for following. I hope we give you quality content and want you to stick around, because inorganic growth is the one thing that scares me the most, because you can ramp up and then just like a lemmings going off a cliff, boom, fall back down. But the other thing is, we have to get, I think it's like 4,000 watch hours in a month now in order to get to the next level of YouTubiness. So I don't want to screw up the metrics, and I don't want to tell you this, but if you have access to a computer and you go to the entry page and you're like, I don't want to sit through the entire hour of this video, and you still want to get credit, all I'm saying is there's a way you can load it up on a computer as long as you got a keyboard, and skippy skip skip, you're at the end, you get the full credit. Just saying. You know, that's one of the benefits of being PC or Mac based. Anyway, I'm going to end your misery. If it will work correctly, you will be able to submit the phrase that pays in this case to get 5 free entries. And it's real simple. The phrase is Clover. I wanted to make it simple. I wanted to make it related to St. Patrick's Day because we're broadcasting here in a St. Patrick's Daze, if you will. And I wanted it to be a one simple word, and I'm like, which one would be the easiest not to screw up the spelling on?
Yeah.
So Clover, everyone. You can now we can watch the viewership tumble. Thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Clover. So there we go. But the other interesting thing, so you that answers my one question I was going to ask. You did not have corned beef and cabbage today, then?
No, which I love me some corned beef. Love it.
I do too, and usually I like making it myself. I've got we have both the Trent, I got a problem with gadgets. In case you haven't, another reason shouldn't have a 3D printer, because soon you're gonna see me walking around with like a homemade arc reactor always stuck on my shirt. But I got a real problem with gadgets.
Well,
what's that?
That's what keeps your heart going, though.
Yes, exactly. I have a problem with gadgets, I do. But, we have an Instant Pot, we have a slow cooker, many different ways. It's very easy to make corned beef and cabbage at home. But last year, we hadn't planned for it. The lockdown kind of came upon us. We weren't exactly sure that it was coming, but, we stopped going anywhere really on March 13th. And then March 16th came as the first day of lockdown here in California. And so we weren't really prepared. And one of my wife's friends on Facebook had posted, there is a restaurant in a neighboring city, Antioch, California, called Little Manuel's. And yes, they specialize in Mexican food. It turns out they make the best damn corned beef and cabbage outside of the corned beef and cabbage we make ourselves.
Now does it have its own like regional NorCal / Mexican flair to it?
They did offer mild or spicy salsa on the side, but no, it was still red potatoes. It was carrots, and it was the stewed corned beef with the peppercorns and everything, and the cabbage. The only thing I will say is they don't give you a lot of cabbage, but boy, oh boy, do they give you a metric ton of meat.
Corned beef, man. Oh yeah, it like people I don't know why corned beef it has a bad like stigma around it. Do you know what I mean? Like people, I hear people talk about it a lot, especially working in a grocery store growing up, like, oh yeah, corned beef over there, and you buy it and it's a huge chunk of meat, but damn, it's tasty and the best sandwiches you could have, man, afterwards.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's wonderful on sandwich. Well, it's one of those things too where honestly speaking, it's a tough cook of a tough piece of meat, but the way you always cook it is either in a Dutch oven or a slow cooker or something. And the nice thing, if you've never had a crock pot, and especially if you live alone, you got to get a crock pot because it is the great equalizer when it comes to meats. It doesn't matter what cut of meat you can buy, any damn cheap cut of meat you want, and you're gonna wind up with a scrumptious meal. You just got to find the recipe, the amount of time, and how much water, and it's a fix it and forget it thing. My favorite meal to make is the easiest because I can make it the night before. I get a young chicken or a roaster, and all I do is I throw Old Bay seasoning on it. I stick some lemon in the middle of it. I put it on a bed of chopped carrot, celery, and onion. Don't even need to put water in it. 8 hours on low. You got fall apart chicken, just as good, if not better, than you get from a rotisserie. And I then make my own bone broth at the end of it all as well. All of that from one thing, fixing it and forgetting it. I'm not here to sell crock pots, Trent, but if I were, I would be encouraging people to get one.
You're not Ron Popeil. You're not here to set it and forget it.
I love the way you play up to the camera when you do that. That's you know what you're doing. You're like, and I realize too, by the way, I always tell people, and I think I mentioned this last time too, I'm always like, yeah, the whole idea was to drive people to the podcast, but really what we're doing now and what everybody's doing now is kind of a multi-hyphenate media presentation. So, yeah, it's nice. Anyway,
a nice little trick, because sometimes when you are either doing pressure cooking or even if you're roasting in the oven and still braising the meat product, one downside sometimes can be that you don't have the crisp texture on the outside that you might want. A nice little fix for that: sear it in a cast iron before you put it in. You're good to go.
Oh yeah, exactly. If you want your meat not to fall apart, but you still want it to be tender, all you got to do is sear, cook, done. But you know what, Trent? I'm not here to sell crock pots. I'm not. Do you know what I am here to sell, though?
Soap?
You know what? If I could find the damn tile that says jingle, I would say yes. Oh, but I can't. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, we're giving up on it. But no, definitely, it's to sell soap. And just really quick, folks, if you want some of the best soap, the best grooming products, the best products overall, unfortunately, I would say they're, well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, but I would say they are a little more male-oriented. But if you go to netheadsonair.com/Duke, you will find a link to the Duke Cannon Supply Company. And they have a full bevy of products to take care of your skin, your face, your hair, your beard. The whole kit and caboodle is right there. If you want some of the creamiest, most lathery soap that is available, Duke Cannon Supply Company has it. And it's quality American-made product. So if you're here in America and that's important to you, there you go. I mean, they have got a shampoo puck, Trent. It looks like a puck, and you use it to wash your hair. I don't even understand the science. I don't understand how that works, but it does. So go to netheadsonair.com /Duke. I'm showing my age. Netheadsonair.com /Duke. Just that easy. You'll get to the Duke Cannon Supply Company, and you'll be supporting Netheads while you do it. So thank you. We appreciate it. Moving on. I got a problem with gadgets, Trent.
Yeah, you've said that.
I have said it a few times. I don't even remember what the hell led us there. Somehow we got to anyway, yeah, the corned beef was delicious. But I do have a problem with gadgets because I fell down a rabbit hole and I got a coupon. And, okay, look, I'm going to be honest, Trent. I had an idea for a TikTok. I still haven't filmed it, and I ended up getting unroasted coffee beans, okay?
Oh, unroasted?
Unroasted. So green...
on green beans.
Yes, green beans. And plus then I also read, because I have not basically bought Starbucks or Pete's or anything for the better part of since September of 2019. And the reason why is because I said to myself, Will, you're spending a lot of money on coffee. Why don't you figure out the ROI if you got a good coffee maker?
Yep.
And just made your own. Instead of spending 25 minutes going to the Starbucks, giving somebody your money, getting handed a cup, coming back, what do? I looked at, and I got like the Breville Barista something or other, so I can make my own lattes anytime.
Dude, those Breville mini espressos are the bee's knees, as the kids used to say back in 1923.
Yeah, baby. Now, it is a pretty penny. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it is a premium.
Yeah. But juxtaposed against, how often you're and Jesus Christ, how much is what does Starbucks call their largest?
like a venti?
Benelli's?
Venti.
Yeah,
it's like
20. It's like like $5.
Don't even get me started, man. There goes our lucrative Starbucks sponsorship. Another one of my favorite coffee makers is Peet's, Peets. They have a location near here as well. And the reason why I like them, when you look at it, they have, like, let's say you order a large. If you order a large, they're going to throw 4 shots of espresso in there. If you order, the difference between a grande and a venti at Starbucks is the number of pumps of syrup and the volume of milk. You get the same number of shots, so you're getting no more coffee for that venti versus a grande, so that medium versus large.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, baby, I know what I'm talking about. So anyway, for what I paid for the Breville, yes, I had to have made at least 100 cups of coffee, but that means within 1/3 of a year return on investment. So I got the green beans so I could make the stupid TikTok. Haven't made it yet. If you're here from TikTok, forthcoming soon. I got the cute little microphone, so now I'm really excited to record it. Maybe I'll have to wait till I 3D print a holder. Who knows? But I fell down a rabbit hole, and then I discovered a device that I got rather inexpensively. Hey, stimmy money, woo!
Have you yet?
Yeah. Our stimulus deposit got done today.
I'm gonna check my after we're done because I'm gonna use it to pay my taxes. Sorry, going on.
Yeah, I know. Look, honestly speaking, I said to myself, Will, I think you're going to just be giving this money back to the government.
Yep.
And I think I am. But I digress. I found this neat little device because the guy that's still on daily entry number 7, Java John, and if you want a nice micro brewed coffee, he's got some great selections. I highly request you support him because unless you like have a small micro roaster in your area, then I would tell you support them as well. But you live in Utah, Trent, so coffee is verboten.
Well, it should be, but we actually have a very well-renowned roaster here in the valley, Ibis Coffee.
I'm not surprised because, you can't, if you can't take a camel to what, I don't know what the aim is. Look, he's talked about how he started roasting coffee. And he actually started with a popcorn air popper, just roasting for himself and trying to keep an eye on the color of the beans because, it blows air up through the beans and they're forced to circulate. And I said, that's great. I have an air popper. I could just do that. But then I found a device because I have a gadget problem. I found a device that is very similar in concept, except the cool thing is it has a cone-shaped bottom. It's a very low angle. I'd say it's about 15%. It's got a cone-shaped bottom. And then in the center of it, drop down, it also has an inverted cone shape, or a regular cone shape, I guess, that would go down there. So that way, when the air blows up through the beans, they then do the whole, yeah, you got it. Trent, show them what you were doing.
Yeah, I was just doing, this.
Exactly. And better, but best of all, it also has the ability to capture the skin the paper that comes off of the beans, and it has a cool down feature, so it can accomplish all of those things at once. So, I ended up picking that thing up and roasting my coffee, and the reason why I did all this is because, again, thinking long term. If I buy a pound of beans, if I buy 8 ounces of roasted beans from somebody, it's the same cost as getting 2 pounds of unroasted beans that I can make myself and that are ready within like a day after brewing or after roasting.
Yeah. So did you go with Arabica or Robusta beans?
I don't remember, Trent. I just remember I bought a highly rated 2-pound bag. I did the first stuff that I roasted, though. I did get like a small sampler that has like about, I don't even know, 100 milligrams maybe of beans. Metric versus U.S.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Bag's worth.
Basically, it was about one machine's worth that this thing can roast at a time, and that one was a Columbia bean. But the sampler I got, man, there are details there I have no information on because it's like this is the temperature, the altitude where it was grown. This is the method it was harvested. None of them say ground. How was it washed? All that.
This is how basic and acidic the Like when you get into wines, that's a huge deal for grapes, right? As to how acidic the ground is that it's growing in, stuff like that. But so as a general rule, Arabica coffee is what's in espresso.
Okay.
A little bit more bitter, and it's not as dark in color when it roasts. And and the there's a whole history on this, but back in the 20s, long story short, Arabica coffee is cheaper to produce than Robusta, and so, or vice versa. Excuse me, vice versa. Robusta is what's used in espresso. And so back in the 20s, a lot of people were putting Robusta in their mixes as they were selling their Arabica coffee. And that became such a bad thing here in America that's why everything is now labeled 100% Arabica coffee.
Oh.
Where if you're drinking espresso, you're not even drinking Arabica coffee, like true espresso. Anyway, so a little bit higher caffeine, a little bit more bitter taste to it. So just something to look into.
I will. And as a matter of fact, I took the opportunity of your explaining that to look up the particular beans that I had purchased. And here we go. They were delivered March 14th. These aren't the actual first ones I roasted, although the Colombian was interesting because it had a very fruit forward scent and flavor. I did not realize coffee comes in different, well, I knew because people talk about like, oh, it's got a chocolate forward flavor.
Yep.
And there is actually an official flavor wheel that you start from the middle and work your way out, where you're like, okay, this tastes fruity. Does it taste more like a straw, like a papaya, like what is the taste?
Yeah.
This one I got is Coffee Cafe La Sierra 2-pound single origin specialty unroasted green coffee from Colombia. So I went with Colombian on my 2-pounder, and probably not but I'm not worried about it because I've had bags of the Lava Raza, I think it is, super crema or whatever it is. And I had that on Amazon subscription when we went into lockdown because I wasn't going out and like buying beans. And let's just say I've got more coffee beans than I can probably brew for a while.
Okay, now to follow this up, what are you using to grind your beans? Because roasting's only half the battle.
I have a KitchenAid conical burr grinder. So
So is it doing a true grind, or is it doing a chop and grind? Like, walk me through the process on this.
Okay, well, Trent, I didn't know we were going to be getting into this in this detail. I thought we would have been talking about WandaVision by now, but
dude, I recently during early days of the quarantine, I went through this whole process too. So I'm wanting to hear what you've done. Learn from the master.
Okay. Well, the guy who just said, I haven't really done research. It's other people said it was good.
No, but you like coffee and you drink a lot of it, so you have a taste for it.
Yes, I'm very passionate about coffee. I'm the type of person that goes to bed thinking about the morning cup of coffee. So what? I do follow you there, and I have. As a matter of fact, Momo Shannon within the chat on YouTube said, as long as it's not that animal poop coffee, I think it's a cat or something. You're talking about civet coffee or the Kopi Loak coffee, which, by the way, I used to the first coffee that I started mail ordering was actually a synthetic civet coffee. I think it was the State College in Florida or one of the universities in Florida, one of the people for their chemistry PhD or something, they studied what happens to the enzymes or in the enzymes of the Kopi Loak or the civet, which is a feline-like animal, when it eats the coffee berries and discards the beans. What happens to the beans in that process? So they went through a synthetic process to mimic that in the lab. So it was allegedly the same flavor without any of the feces, which I'm all for. And so I tried it, and it was some of the best coffee I've ever had because it would have a chocolate-forward flavor. But the most important part is, although it may taste like coffee, it missed one key element that you get with most of your hot brew, which is that bitter aftertaste. It was gone. It actually would leave a sweet aftertaste in your mouth. And that was my favorite coffee. Unfortunately, Coffee Primero went out of business. so goes, U.S. consumerism. So to answer your question, though, Trent, because I get what you're saying, most of the time I try to get the freshest roasted coffee I can, which is another reason why I'm excited about roasting my own coffee at home, because a good roasted coffee, especially a freshly roasted coffee, the fresher the roast, the bigger the bloom. If you don't know what the bloom is, got a whole dissertation on that as well. We'll save it for another time, but needless to say, you put a little bit of the water on your coffee and the CO2 will release, and it blooms up in domes, because I'm a big pour-over guy. Anyway, to answer your question, the grinder I use is a burr grinder, and it's conical, so it will, well, no, that word means something else. But it is cone-shaped, so the beans go down. But in the grinding, instead of the regular type of coffee grinder most people may be accustomed to, the cheap little, like, burr grinder, that's just two flat blades that just keep chopping and grinding the beans.
It's like a salad shooter for coffee beans.
Yeah, it's not the way to go, because you don't get a uniform shape or size to your grind. Whereas if you have a burr grinder, and if you want to try this, you can get a very cheap hand burr grinder. You'll be grinding forever, but you will get the grind at the size you need. Like I said, I do pour over and even some drips or French press. You want a coarse grind, a larger grind. The burr grinder basically has two blades that you set the distance at. So it comes up with a grind that's a specific size, because as things pass through it, they get ground to about that gap and then fall through and go through the process. So that's what I use. That's the best you can do if you're doing a home grind.
Right.
Like I mentioned, my current favorite way to brew, if I'm not using the espresso machine, is a pour over, and that is basically the second cup of coffee in the day, because I'm only allowed 2 a day. That will be the pour over. The first one is usually the espresso, which I ruin by making a low carb almond milk bulletproof latte with protein powder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I ruin it. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm accustomed to it, so let's run with it.
No, I get that.
But I have a gadget problem. There's over 8 different ways to make coffee in my kitchen right now.
Yeah.
So let's not get into it.
The Civets coffee stuff just reminded me, for those of you who may be new to the program, go back to episode 36, published February 26, 2012. And where we talk about Civet coffee, which is when you made your purchase then. So go check it out.
Moly, this podcast has got a long tail.
Yeah, dude, how about that, huh?
But I like the way you deal with it. By the way, Momo Shannon on Twitter once again saying, when limited to 2 cups of coffee a day, I get a bigger cup.
This is also true.
It's very true. He's very nice. I do that too. Wow, I didn't really expect to go that deep in on coffee again, but
no, I liked it. I was having a hard time making a good Americano with the even just by brewing myself inside of a Keurig. So I went through the whole process and bought a grinder, and I bought a drip machine that I'm really, really happy with. It was hard finding one that had an actual shower head so I could get an even distribution for the water dispensation. But you know what? Really happy with it. A little thing I like to do, I put raw cocoa powder from the cocoa bean in and mix it up. So it's kind of like putting dark chocolate into your coffee, makes it, sweet but bitter at the same time. Love it.
That's very similar to how I ruin coffee because one of the things I add is a hold on, let me get it right. It's a collagen protein powder that's basically dark chocolate, and then I use the sugar-free Torani to provide some bitter sweetness, essentially.
Yeah.
And really, my morning cup of coffee tastes like I'm having a cup of hot cocoa every morning, and so I love it. But
not bad either.
But you keyed me in on something there, like an Americano. See, I would have recommended for you then, you might have been a good candidate for a mocha pot.
I've not heard of a mocha pot.
They are very popular in Europe more than here. And the mocha pot is you take more of an espresso grind, so the finer powder grind. You put it in the upper chamber or the bottom chamber. No, the upper chamber. There's a filter in between. I think I don't remember. I haven't used mine in for half the time, but forever. But it's a percolator approach. So you put the water down below, you put it, and then it comes up. But you end up getting almost an espresso like coffee, and then you could just add more hot water to that to get the Americano. But it sounds like you've got it dialed in already, so I wouldn't go that. Like I can't even believe one of the things I have not bought and I will not buy because I have the Breville. But there is even a compression espresso maker. It looks more like a riveter, if you will, but
like an AeroPress.
Kind of, but like it's a big manual one to really give you that compression you need in order to force that hot water through.
Yep. Yeah, my I mean, living here in Utah, like everyone is, all outdoorsy and everything, and they all live and die by their backpacking AeroPress coffee, right? So that when they're out, they can just brew their hot water and then they do their AeroPress or whatever. But I've never had it. My coworker claims, I don't know, I'm sure this is true, but he said that when it comes to like world championship awards for coffee, whenever they're tasting and they're made on spot, they're all using AeroPresses. I don't know if that's true or not, but
Maddie Fiance, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong in the chat, is saying, welcome to Coffee Talk with Trent and Will.
I'll give you a topic. Rhode Island is neither a road nor an island.
Discuss. Wow, yeah. And here it was titled St. Patrick's Days, and like very little on that topic. Yeah, you really cannot get me started on coffee, but I will say that home roasting is really an exciting concept because
dude,
your
house is gonna smell so damn good.
No, it doesn't. Roasting coffee does not smell the same way as roasted coffee. It smells like Trent, it smells like burning, okay? I'm not going to lie.
No, so the big roaster here in the town I live in, and maybe it's because I'm far enough away that when the smell does waft in, it just smells really good. And maybe they're doing it at such a quantity that it dispenses over the air that it travels to my house. But man, when I get a whiff of it, oof.
Well, that could be it, but also it could be just because I'm learning and doing it wrong. But I do find, like they say, not to use it outside, but I definitely do need to use it near the range so I can hit the vent, so it'll vent some of it out.
Yeah.
And like I said, the paper that comes off of it, the skin that comes off the bean, that also is probably contributing there. But I admit I liked the smell. Others in the house did not, which I can understand. But still, that was an amazing find. And hopefully this Colombian bag that I bought, I'm going to like. Because like I said, I wasn't really big on the fruity flavor. However, it was still, I must have done something right because it wasn't bitter. It was still a tasty cup of coffee. It was very smooth. And most importantly, I got a sweet bloom out of it. Like one of the biggest blooms I've ever seen. If you don't know what the bloom is, it's like I said, CO2 release mounds. Yay. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go, folks. Glad we could bring you some brewing advice. If you have more coffee questions, feel free to go ahead and use our website to not communicate it with us at all. Actually, Trent, for the longest time, I think we had to sign up for a newsletter that ended up expiring. And then I was thinking about starting it up again until I saw the costs of MailChimp. And then I'm like, no. No, because I was thinking about doing it with the giveaway. However, I will re-add it to the website. So if you do want to join our newsletter, that way you can find out where. Actually, it's netheadsonair@gmail.com. If you want to email us and ask about coffee, I'll be more than happy to give you my crappy advice, and then you can do your own research and come to your own conclusion. Heavy saying, but what are your thoughts on tea? I believe loose leaf over bags. Again, probably the freshest you want. I like brewing in a nice teapot. I have an R2D2 one, themed one, and and it's a great thing to use when you don't want quite that kick of caffeine, but you still want some. Actually, if you really want to stay caffeinated evenly throughout the day, that's where a benefit tea has too.
Yeah, and my only tea habit is yerba mate, so can't really speak to
that one's
any.
That's a rough tea too, man. Because unless I was making it wrong, it tastes like grass and dirt.
Yeah, no, that's well, I mean, yes and no. If you're making it the traditional way, and that's a whole other process of learning how to do that correctly, so that you just don't end up with like gross mud that you're trying to drink.
You have to have a what is it? The bomba? No.
Yeah, the bomba and the cuya. So the gourd and the straw.
The filtered straw.
Filtered straw, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I also have tea bags. I'll put it in, and when, and so whenever I'm going on like a coffee fast, dude, I'll tell you what, you want to get something out of your coffee, stop drinking it for like 2 weeks, then come back to it. Oh, it's the greatest thing in the world.
Oh,
is the yerba mate fills whenever I go on those coffee fasts.
I never want to live in that world, Trent. What are you talking about?
Oh, Will, I'm telling you, dude, you do it, you'll come back with this appreciation of coffee that you never knew that you could ever reach.
I believe you.
Got to go without.
Yeah.
So
I'd rather not. Although, I do find that even though I do have the obsession I do, I'm not one of the people that gets headaches when I don't drink it. So again, something is properly balanced there. I don't.
Yeah, probably 2 cups a day is good for you. You know what I mean? That's not overdoing it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way. I mean, most people it may be 1 cup a day. The only thing I don't like is, and I don't have it. Realistically, I'm not a morning person. That's the thing.
Me either. Oh.
And I think that's the reason why I'm so reliant on it. Because honestly, I am more productive, and it's easier for me to do things like, I'd say, in the 2 to 10 p.m. window than any other time. So that's why I need to work for myself. So that way I can just be productive in those hours and do the things that I can do. But anyway,
And me, it's like the 7 to 2 a.m. is my like hunker down and get shit done time. Don't tell my boss that though.
Fair enough. Oh, you mean PM? 7?
Yes, 7 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Those times when I have to like correct stuff and work on stuff, again, in those same hours, like recently I had something that I had to get completed, and it did kind of slip into, I ended up going from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m., but I got more done in those 3 hours than I've been able to get done like in an entire day.
Yeah. Something about it. I don't know what it is. If it's just the fear of how shitty you're gonna feel in just a few hours, so you want to get it done as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
but it's a motivator.
And then you throw some of that yerba mate in there. Momo Shannon saying that Vector can be a little tea butler. No, he's supposed to bring the butter.
Little cute little Vector.
Yeah, there he is right there. By the way, that's one thing we don't really use a lot, but we do have available is a Vector cam at any time. Just needs to have, I think, its own indicator. That is like, I don't know why I haven't done this very much or before, because like one of my stupidest, favoritist things when I was hosting a live TV show back in the late 90s of all things on the internet, one of the cutaways I have, if I didn't want to be on camera, was just a tight shot on a lava lamp.
Yes.
And I called it Lava Cam, and boy, did it come in handy. Anyway,
yeah.
Well, Trent, was there anything else you wanted to talk about today? Because, I mean, I didn't expect to go like 30 minutes on coffee.
Oh, well, just happy birthday on Saturday, and I hope that this is a foray for you into the wide, wonderful world of Dildonics.
Oh, jeez. You just had to take it there, didn't you, Trent? Oh, and see, I think for that I would have to go with filament, because that way you could get the flexible filament.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, it's all on preference. You know what I mean? It's all on preference, Will.
Good point. Good point. Well, I don't know. Safety first and then teamwork, Trent. Did you watch WandaVision, by the way?
Yeah. I watched it all in one night. Blew through it super fast.
Now I have to admit, because I know we ended up skipping a week, so we didn't get into it, and thankfully, I think we're well beyond. But just in case, hey folks,
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. Oh, I didn't even realize I haven't been running my lower third this whole time. But yeah, spoiler zone for WandaVision talk a little bit here. I admit that I did stay awake for the finale to watch it that night, and I went full nerd, and I like did the math, and I'm like, okay, so with a few breaks and everything else, if I start a rewatch at 7:00, I can live WandaVision the exact same way Trent will on Sunday. Yeah. And so I did, and I had the benefit, which by the way is with a show where the average episode is at or under 30 minutes.
Yeah, around 40 something.
It is a great rewatch as well because you catch so many little things. Because the first time you went through it, you're like, wait, what the hell are these commercials about? But then you get to certain points and then you rewatch and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And there's continuity throughout the commercials too of the actors and the products and stuff. Yeah.
Soy Betty is saying hello from Idaho. Hello back, Soy Betty, Bam-a-lamb. So I guess without going into the spoilers of it all, what
Hatchet reference, I got it.
Yeah. What did you think of the program?
Absolutely loved it. I need to get into the Marvel podcast because they just today or yesterday they did an episode with the director. Because watching it, I just thought to myself, holy shit, this would be the funnest production in the world to work on. I did a deep dive production wise. They even mounted period lenses to their digital cameras to shoot in, and then they went and found period lighting as well, just so that they could have everything feel authentic for the different decades of the episodes in which they were shooting. Very, very cool. Absolutely loved it. Huge spoiler, so sorry folks if now's your last chance to turn it off. Here's a spoiler. I loved, blown away, absolutely loved the Agatha Harkness reveal. However, worried because she's an integral part in the mythos of the Fantastic Four, not as a villain, right? She's kind of not an anti-hero, but she's a witch. But she's Franklin Richards' nanny, Reed and Sue's son's nanny growing up. So she can't be a villain when they introduce the FF into the MCU now. So what's going on?
Yeah, but Trent, Civil War wasn't Civil War like in the comics in Captain America Civil War.
I know. The Simpsons just an episode that I took to heart about how, not all media can be created for your very specific interests, Trent.
Yeah. But still, it was, and that was the thing too that,
loved it.
And the other thing too that I think that they did good with Agnes was the fact that for those that have encountered the character in the comics, you knew it was Agatha all along, just from the simple thing of the brooch,
Yep.
And Agnes is an excellent condensing of Agatha Harkness.
Yep. Yeah, and plus the casting was so good with her. She's just like, ever since Anchorman, man, I've just fallen in love with her. And additionally, working in the Fox's Quicksilver in.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Absolutely brilliant. Plus, he's just so great anyways. I love him in American Horror Story.
I know a lot of people got really perturbed by who he really was, especially they thought it was just a dick joke because of Ralph Bohner, but a lot of people don't know. And I found this out when Matt Shackman, the director, was actually on Fat Man on Batman 2 weeks ago. And he actually had a part on Growing Pains as a child actor. And really? the boner was kind of a tribute in a way to the fact that Growing Pains had Kirk Cameron's character's best friend was Boner, was his name.
Yep.
So that was kind of like a mini tribute. So that was nice. And also, if you were into that podcast, one of the things that they dropped last week in the gap week between shows, because we're getting the Falcon and Winter Soldier Ep 1 you will be waiting. They did have a fill-in show that was kind of like an entire behind-the-scenes package on the making of WandaVision, and I think they only kind of hinted at like trying for the lighting and the lenses. They didn't really go detailed on it, but that kind of information was in there as well. And the funniest part and the most enjoyable part about watching that, though, is that with the digital, every time you see Vision as Vision, that's a fully composited face that they've got on him. So every time he's on screen as Vision, he's got the colored makeup, he's got the white dots, and they're just painting out his ears. So then he's got his regular ears sticking out, looking like, I don't even know what. It's just like, what is happening here? I have no idea. But the other thing I did really like about that show as well, when you come away from it, first of all, it has a lot of great messages on grief and dealing with grief. And a lot of the episodes kind of thematically seem to go through some of the stages of grief. But the other thing too, when you look at it like as an abstract, and it's funny for me the way there are certain bits of media that I really enjoy this way. It's really a show without any, I mean, it's almost like a show of nothing but bad guys and no real good guys, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is so true to, I mean, Vision, right? Vision and Spectrum are like the good guys that are in it. But I love that they kind of held true to the idea of the Scarlet Witch in that she's always been this very reluctant to take any side.
Mm-hmm.
All throughout the comics, like she and Quicksilver both have always been, we're in it for ourselves, for each other, not for anyone else. And I'm glad that they continued with that. And then additionally too, like finally tying in Monica Rambeau and her powers are developing. Spectrum, this is the FBI agent who starts getting those interesting powers near the end of the last 2 episodes, I think. She is so kick-ass and so badass, and they are so primed now for Captain Marvel 2 for those two to come together and kick ass together, man. So stoked.
It was very interesting. I think also I was unclear in the show if they were saying there was kind of bad blood now between Monica and Captain Marvel, or maybe just that, that's like one of the things she doesn't want to talk about. I don't know what was there. But the other thing too, a lot of people, at least in my opinion, I made the instant assumption that she was going to be part of, Marvel announced in the one of their big announcements over the last 2 years that one of the TV shows exclusive to Disney Plus is going to be Secret Invasion, which was very Skrull heavy.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
And I just assumed she was going to be going to that. But again, in the Matt Shackman interview on Fat Man Beyond, he mentioned her, and Monica, we got to set up Monica Rambeau, and we got to do these things for that character, and then it gets handed off to Captain Marvel too. At which point I was like, oh, is he allowed to say that? I don't know.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, they did I think the important thing is that other than, I think, the rough start that they had, in that I mean that originally, before the COVID-19 of things, their intent was to release the first 3 episodes of WandaVision, which is a totally different experience than just the first 2, because it gives you the ability to understand, okay, this isn't just some weird thing. This is some type of alternate reality, and there is a MCU reality that this does connect to. So you're not just, it's not just some type of college art experiment film.
Right. Yeah. Oh, and then I'd be remiss if I did not also bring up, earlier I said that one of the greatest straight men in cinema being Matthew Broderick. However, I do think that he is being outpaced by Randall Park, who in WandaVision is Agent Jimmy Woo, and who, if you're watching The Young Rock, he is the television journalist that was once an actor that he references every time he's on screen. Man, that guy is hilarious, and he plays the same character in everything he does, as far as like his delivery and everything, and it's the funniest thing ever. I love Randall Park. He's the best.
You know, the thing that I like is when they're able to bring something from a previous performance through to the new performance. And I didn't pick up on it because I don't key in on these details. But like he mentioned that in that behind the scenes thing I talked about, how there are certain little tiny Jimmy Woo-isms that they kind of established in Ant-Man and the Wasp that they then get to carry forward. You know, his like making his business card appear because he was so fascinated by Scott Lang's, close-up magic. And then also, you know, that awkward thing that he does where he seems to be trying to make connections with people and doesn't know how. And it's like, so what about you, Jimmy? He's like, oh, me? Well, you know, most kids grew up with this. And he's like, no, why can you remember Westview? All those little things like, or do you want some? And like, kids, I don't know. I think about, oh, you meant the chips. You know, those are just great elements. How did you feel about the reveal of the White Vision?
Oh, I thought it was great. And I thought, I'll be honest, I felt like it was kind of dealt with a little bit too quick.
Yeah, I agree completely.
You know what I mean? Like because especially in the comics, man, like that is a pivotal point in the Avengers history. And it was all one episode. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it was. But I think, first of all, it's a concept that's a little hard to grasp. So I think that was a little fan service being able to include it. I also like the way they did sort of resolve it. I mean, there's no real explanation other than the fact he doesn't have the Mind Stone and no emotional connection on. So, you know, he's just another white guy. But the other thing,
he's what like Vision would be without the human element, right? Like there's so much that you could play with in that character, in that like dualism between the two.
I did like the way he kind of incorporated a semi-snarl when portraying the character, because there was just sort of a kind of base resentment overall. But the other thing, too, that I don't feel that they could address in this, so I'm kind of glad it was brief, was that in the comics, you know, when Vision is reconstructed, but as this logical, emotionless thing, that was a very harsh thing for Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, to deal with.
Yeah.
Which this whole show really is kind of about. So,
right. Yeah.
You know, you really can't hurt her more. The only problem I had is just like, bro, why did you just like take off when all this stuff is going on? But instead he's like, okay, well, never mind. I don't really, it's not logical to be doing this. So I just got all this stuff I got to go deal with. So I guess he's going to go to a coffee house and think.
He's going to go to the donut shop and sit in between the big O, like at the end of Iron Man 1.
Or he's just gone to the Starbucks to sit there and work on his screenplay. I don't know which.
It's really dry though. There's just no emotion in it at all. My last thing is now that we're seeing more Jimmy Woo, fingers crossed, we're gonna get a series within the Disney Plus. Now that Doom Patrol has shown that it can be done, we will get a Agents of Atlas TV series, which is led by Jimmy Woo in the comics, and it is possibly one of my favorite Marvel series of all time. Check it out if you haven't read it, or if you've got the Marvel Unlimited app. Go read all the Agents of Atlas stuff. It's the best.
Well, I know Mark Bernardin of Fat Man Beyond. He early on had tweeted out, you know, Disney Plus, please. I want a Jimmy Woo standalone show where he is dealing with his own X-Files type issues, but in that Jimmy Woo way.
Oh, I would kill for that, man. Not literally, but I don't know, maybe small animals.
I understand. Well, you know what, Trent? We're even though the lights haven't gone red, we're out of time. We've really beat this dead horse. Actually, also right now we are counter programming with Mr. Kevin Smith, who's hosting the virtual red carpet premiere of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which if you don't have HBO Max, folks, it is going to be airing or streaming Thursday on HBO Max. I'm really interested to see this, only because of the giant train wreck that Justice League was for me in the theaters. I'm interested to see what Zack Snyder's vision was. So are you going to do you have the HBO Max?
I do. I do have the HBO Max. I gobbled up a ton of stuff on there. Great recommendation though is Close Enough on the HBO Max as well. It is the creator of Regular Show is doing. It's basically Regular Show without for adults. It's Regular Show for adults.
What's Regular
But
Show?
yeah, it was a long running series on Cartoon Network.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, it's one of those things. I still want to see more modern takes on Wonder Shows, and that was one I missed and loved.
Yeah.
But anyway, hey, when the hell are we getting more Rick and Morty? That's what I want to know. Seems like we're due.
For fans of Mystery Fall or Gravity Falls and fans of the Venture Brothers, just be happy that they're still making it, man.
Yep. Me too, because of that big order they got. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for consuming whatever way it is you did. We really appreciate it. Don't forget that Vector giveaway code that hopefully if it works, it'll be Clover. If I can't make that work, then you're just going to get a free entry somehow. So we'll let it ride. And again, that giveaway is going to be ending on April 1st. I think we will announce the winner because it was conceptualized, catered to, created for TikTok. I will probably reveal the winner in a TikTok live. I can't remember. It says on the giveaway what time the giveaway ends, I think, but it'll be like 7 p.m. Pacific. I think we'll do a live and then we'll reveal the winner of the Vector right there. So you heard it here first. Pays to watch the video or listen to the podcast. One way or another will make it worth your while. Also, there's another special programming moat. We got a programming moat. We want to keep out the invaders. Apologies. We'll lower the drawbridge so you can come in.
Come on in.
Programming note. Trent and I, we've had a powwow. We've had a collab. We've had a discussion. And if you enjoy catching the program live, we're going to be live on Tuesday nights moving forward. Hopefully every week. We'll see. And time to be determined. It'll either be 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Pacific time. We'll see which one works better, and we'll clarify next week. But regular shows moving forward on schedule for you. So that way, because my wife mentioned, you know what I miss? I miss hearing that shopping game you did. And I said, what's in Will's sack?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know what modern alternative we will use, but what we used to do back when Think Geek was still a thing, I would pick 3 products, and if you could guess the items that were in my shopping cart, you would win up to $100 worth of prizes. No cash, just prizes. You could win it, or cash value, because it's a lot easier than shopping. I just need to figure out the right way to do it. Because we need a destination. Amazon is too big, so we need kind of some specialty site.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not gonna.
We don't need to figure it out here.
Talk about it off air.
Yeah, there you go. But anyway, folks, so there's that little bit of news as well, and hopefully next time I'll have the jingle worked out, because I figured it out. In controlling the video, I don't need a whole lot of buttons. So the tinier stream deck I moved back over for controlling the program, and the big one for the sounds, because if I could have 4 times thing, it's a whole lot of buttons, like 28 buttons. So I could load 28 sounds. So I could really make this sound like a I can make it sound like the morning zoo. It's just like, oh gosh darn it, and then
it's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Are you sure about that?
I said good day.
I could play anything I want. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, within copyright. Anyway, folks, thank you very much. Please don't forget to check out Devotion Wrestling on YouTube. You can click the link on the Vector giveaway to find out more about that. Don't forget to go to netheadsonair.com/Duke. You can support us that way. Or if you like, you could also go to patreon.com/netheadsonair. Just go to netheadsonair.com. It's always the fastest and easiest way to find all the relevant links. And then you can get a shout out just like the listener and new Patreon supporter that I mentioned earlier, who I've already forgotten because I moved away from the page. Thank you so much. Look at you. Yeah. Name retention. I'll never forget the first call with Trent. I think I did put that particular episode of Radio Skew into the feed. And by the way, the nice thing about the Patreon is you can get all of the shows commercial free. So there's no ad in the front, no ad in the middle. It's all just content. That whole Duke Cannon ad that was in this thing, gone. Not there. Just a little mention here at the end. And, you know, it's the entire back catalog as well. So it's all right there for you to enjoy. As well as hopefully more daily or weekly exclusives. I haven't done them because I've just been too busy life and complications. But like I've got another video to shoot of all of the crap I have received that I want to share with you all. One of them is really interesting because it's sheath underwear. I won't say anything else. You can Google it if you want. I can't wait to talk about it. Anyway, again, Devotion Wrestling. Trent is a part of him on Twitter. I am that Will Wilkins. Thank you very much. And Trent, oh wait, no, I did that wrong. Until next time, my name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
And we'll be back
soon.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker. Signing off. I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it. NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.
It's always so fun, I'm sure, for people to sit here and watch as I'm like looking down, and there's that long momentary feeling of doubt as I've gone and I've done our sign off, and then you say we'll be back soon, and then I'm like, crap, is this the right button? Is there always that long, scary moment?
Yep. I've taken to I've got white gaffer tape over all the TriCaster buttons at work now because I can't remember any of them at all.
No, you got to have quick reference. And you know, it's not the smartest layout because it's all just a bunch of buttons with words on them. So I have to read. That's the last thing you want to do in a pinch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep.
I should just have like different colored buttons, and it's like red to end, and that's how you do it.
Well, maybe you can print some buttons.
Ooh, I could, but it's a digital display, so I can just like create whatever I want, you know.
Well, I guess that works.
Works for me.
Happy 5th.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.